7. A free gymnastics practice in Weißensee was announced under Lieutenant Wachtel's command. Klitsche, Theodor, and Günther walked ahead of the others at a distance of 100 paces. Günther was a guest, cordially greeted and entertained with jokes. Klitsche's forceful laughter made itself heard. They came to a halt, having decided to rest. An indefatigable woodpecker was knocking. A bird was whistling bashfully. 100 black flies were seething in the unusually warm April sun. The forest floor smelled fresh and overpowering. Theodor is eager to see the end of the forest. Hell! The forest is endless. Theodor is feverish. He feels a pressure at the top of his skull, as if many, many tree trunks weighed heavily on his head. Tears well up in his eyes. He can no longer see. He drops down beside Günther. Now he waits as if for his own death. It was coming too fast, too fast. Before him Theodor saw uncountable tree trunks which broke and attenuated the sunlight. But the trees were disembodied, shadow trees. They did not hold firm. They carried on in a continuous, imperceptible movement, as if the entire forest were a curtain made of thin gauze moved by an incomparably gentle breeze. As clearly as the tree trunks which stood before him, Theodor saw Detective Klitsche behind him, saw how he lifted a hatchet with both hands and stretched upward, felt how Klitsche drew in his breath, and then Theodor closed his eyes. When he opened them again, he saw Günther beside him collapsing, saw the half-open mouth of the fallen body, the stifled, lodged cry, and felt an enduring quiet. It was as tranquil in the forest as if everything were awaiting the death cry, which did not come. The tip of the hatchet emerged between Günther's brows at the bridge of the nose. His face was white, violet shimmering under the eyes. He was still breathing. The thumb of his left hand, lying on his chest, moved like a small, fleshy, dying pendulum. With a final rattle his upper lip drew back. His teeth were visible, and a piece of whitish-grey gum. Klitsche threw a sack over Günther, left the hatchet in place. He dragged him farther away, over pine needles, over sandy ground, over pine cones which rustled softly. A pit was there. Günther toppled in. Klitsche withdrew the sack in order to remove the hatchet. Red and straight, in an infinitely fine spray, the long-dammed blood shot up from Günther's brain into the tree-tops, a red string, and dripped from the pines. Sticky, clotted drops. They congealed at once, even as they fell, crusted over like red sealing wax. Ceaselessly roaring red ringed Theodor round. On the field he had seen and heard this red. It cried out, it bawled as if from 1,000 throats. It flickered, flamed like 1,000 conflagrations. Red were the trees, red was the yellow sand, red the brown needles on the ground, red the sharply serrated sky between the pines. In shrill yellow red the sunshine played among the trunks. Great crimson wheels circled in the air. Crimson balls rolled up and down. Glowing sparks seethed on the side, amassed into softly undulating spark-serpents, dispersed. The roaring red came from Theodor's core. It filled him up, struck out of him, but made him light, and his head seemed to float, as if it were filled with air. It was like a weightless red jubilation, a triumph which lifted him, an exhilarated roaring, death of heavy thoughts, liberation of the hidden, long-buried soul. Klitsche slipped, fell down, let out a groan. The hatchet lingered yet a while in the air with upward-pointing handle, as if it were alive, and wobbled sideways. Theodor picked it up. He imitated Klitsche, raised the hatchet and plunged it down. Klitsche's skull gave a little bang. A whitish-grey and bloody mash flowed out of the brain. Somewhere the indefatigable woodpecker knocked again. The bashful bird was chirping. The heavy mist mounted from the forest floor. Theodor walked with easy strides through the forest. Rotted branches crackled underfoot. He was as light as one of the 100 seething black flies.